Hello, welcome to Solomon's Gate. I'm Joe Kusi. Today I want to share with you why you should give 10% of your income to God. Perhaps there is no subject that has invited such debate and discussion both within the Christian world and without it as tithing. To tithe simply means to give 10% or more of your income to God as a way of honoring Him and as a way of confirming that God owns, the fullness of the earth belongs to God, and that He is the one responsible for your income and your wealth. That's what tithing means. Tithes are for people who see God as their source. It's not for people who think they are self-sufficient, they know how to do what they do, and they can get by in this life without God. So someone sees himself as self-made or self-sufficient, and when you mention tithing, he says, I don't see which part of my life or my success or my income God is responsible for. And also, tithing doesn't make any sense to me. Why should I give 10% of my income to God? Someone has asked in this country that why is the tithe 10%? Why is it not 11% or 12%? Why 10%? Well, that is not an argument against the Bible. It's an argument against the English language and the etymology of the English language itself. It is like asking, why are percentages marked against 100 and not against 101 or 102? The word tithe from its etymology means a tenth of. So tithing just means 10% off. Now let me make it clear. Thousands of years ago, God made an agreement with a man called Abraham. And in that agreement, they made a covenant. A covenant is the highest level of binding agreement that can happen between two people. Now in the ancient world, covenants were taken so seriously that they were contracted with blood, and each party to the covenant was obliged to the covenant on pain of death. If you broke the covenant, you could die. So animals were slaughtered as the token of the covenant, that if I break the covenant, this is my end. If you break the covenant, this is your end. So if two men made a covenant to be allies and one reneged on the terms of the covenant, the other had the right to kill them. That's how powerful covenants were. Another thing about covenants is that once two made a covenant, they became equal. All that belongs to one now pertain to the other. One also belong to the other. So if my enemies attack me and I'm in covenant with you as a brother, you were obliged by covenant to take up all the forces you could muster and come to my defense. That's what covenant means. So God made a covenant with a man, and based on that covenant, God agreed with Abraham that Abraham's seed would inherit the whole world. Now, why could God make a promise? Why could God bring ownership of the whole world to the terms of a covenant? Because He owned the world. God, the earth and its fullness belong to God. So Abraham, in the agreement, God told Abraham, I make this agreement with you, you and your children after you become owners of the world. So in the covenant, God as owner of all the universe and everything in it agrees with Abraham that Abraham's seed will be children of God. And all that God owns will be Abraham's. So we say Abraham, God of Abraham. But in Genesis 14, there's also Abraham of the Most High God. So there's Abraham of God and God of Abraham. That's the power of a covenant. Now, anybody who says they expect God to bless them financially and be responsible for their sustenance and their provision is walking in the steps of the faith of Abraham. That means you see yourself as a seed of Abraham, right? Now, if Abraham gave 10% of all that God had blessed him with to God, what was he saying? He was saying that by giving the 10 to God, I am acknowledging that He is the owner of the world in the first place. And because of that, I am also the owner of the world. So anybody who refuses to give 10% of their income to God is saying that they are not they don't subscribe to the covenant that says that the world belongs to God. Because when I give 10% of everything I have to God, I'm saying that it's all yours anyway. I'm giving 10% of it to show that all that I own is yours. Now someone says, okay, so why 10? Why 10%? Why not 9%? Well, when you are measuring how good someone is at something, do you say measure them over 9? Do you say can you rate him out of 1 out of 11? You say you rate him out of 10. Now, what did 10 do to deserve that spot? It is because nature teaches us that the number 10 represents wholeness or fullness. So when you take a 10% of anything, the 10 represents the full, and the 10 represents the whole. So any good thing that can come that can come to me as income or as wealth belongs to God. That's how I see it. So I give him the 10% to show that this represents the full, and I'm giving it to you to honor you as the owner of all things, who has blessed me and has given me what I have. So why you should give 10% of all your income to God is that it is a witness that God is responsible for your wealth and God is responsible for making you rich. If not, you shouldn't. It means you are self-sufficient and you don't need God to do anything for you. That is why we tithe. We tithe to show that the earth and its fullness belong to God, and that being Abraham's children and in covenant and subscribing to that covenant, our tithe is to show that he is Lord of all and he owns all things. And because we are in covenant with him, we are also owners of the world through Abraham. This is very important to note, and this is why we tithe. I gave my 10% on Sunday because I was saying that all the wealth in the world belongs to God, and because of that, because I'm Abraham's seed through Christ, the world belongs to me also. And so the 10% is the witness, and it confirms that God is responsible for blessing me. Thanks for joining me. See you in the next episode.